10 most common dating mistakes and how to avoid them. Dating is an intricate and emotional journey that involves connecting with others, learning about them, and navigating complex feelings and dynamics. It can be one of the most fulfilling experiences when done right. It can also be filled with pitfalls and missteps that can complicate the process. Whether you're new to dating or have been in relationships before, it's important to recognize and avoid common dating mistakes that could get in the way of finding love, happiness, and deep connections. By becoming more mindful of these mistakes, you can increase your odds of building a lasting, healthy relationship. The first one is moving too fast. The excitement and rush of a new relationship can be overwhelming. It's natural to want to jump into something that just feels right. But moving too fast in the early stages of dating can cause unnecessary stress, discomfort, and confusion. Relationships are built on trust, emotional connection, and understanding. And these things take time to develop. Whether it's rushing into a committed relationship without knowing each other, or engaging in physical intimacy too soon, moving too fast can disrupt the flow of getting to know each other. Here's how you avoid it. Pace the relationship. Build the relationship gradually. Take time to get to know each other in different settings and understand each other's values, life goals, and emotional needs. Respect emotional boundaries. Pay attention to how both you and your partner are feeling. If things are escalating too quickly, it's okay to slow down. Respect emotional and physical boundaries. Establish open communication. Have conversations about the pace in which both of you are comfortable. Being on the same page ensures that neither person feels overwhelmed or pressured. The consequences of rushing. If you rush, you might overlook critical red flags, such as misalignment in values, habits, and goals. You may miss out on developing a deeper emotional connection, which is the foundation of a lasting relationship. Pressuring yourself or your partner to move too quickly can cause resentment and anxiety, making the relationship feel more like a burden than a joy. The second common dating mistake is ignoring red flags. A red flag is any behavior, attitude, or action that signals potential future problem in a relationship. These issues might not be immediately noticeable, especially in the initial stages, but if ignored, they can escalate into significant problems down the line. Red flags can include anything from inconsistency in communication, lack of respect, manipulative behaviors, or even lack of empathy. While it's easy to get swept up in emotions and overlook these warning signs, ignoring them can lead to toxic relationships that are hard to get out of. Here's how you avoid it. Trust your instinct. If something feels off, trust your gut. Don't convince yourself that you can change someone. Facing these issues early on will save you heartache in the future. Speak up about concerns. If you notice any red flags, address them openly with your partner. Having honest conversations can help clarify misunderstandings and prevent deeper issues later on. Don't ignore small behaviors. Pay attention to how your partner behaves over time. Small red flags that are ignored early on can evolve into larger issues. Potential red flags: dishonesty or frequent lying. Controlling behaviors or attempts to isolate you from your friends and family. Lack of empathy, especially in situations where kindness and understanding are needed. A pattern of making you feel guilty or responsible for their problems. Number 3, being too picky or unrealistic. Having high standards is important when it comes to relationships. But if your expectations are too rigid or based on unrealistic ideals, you might end up pushing away potential partners who could be a great fit. Sometimes, people get caught up in checking off a list of unrealistic qualities or looking for someone who matches a specific image they've created in their mind. While compatibility is essential, expecting perfection can prevent you from experiencing the kind of love that requires vulnerability, growth, and acceptance. How to avoid it. Reevaluate your standard. Focus on qualities that truly matter in a long-term partner, such as kindness, emotional availability, trustworthiness, and shared values. Let go of superficial traits that don't necessarily contribute to relationship longevity. Be open to imperfection. Accept that no one is perfect. Instead of looking for someone that meets every requirement, be open to discovering how well you connect emotionally and mentally. Learn the differences between preferences and deal breakers. Understand the difference between preferences, someone's appearance or hobbies, and deal breakers, lack of respect or dishonesty. The latter should be non-negotiable. How unrealistic expectations hurt relationships. It leads to constant disappointment when no one meets your perfect standards. You may overlook someone who might be a great match simply because they don't meet some arbitrary criteria. You might end up settling for someone that you aren't truly compatible with just because they tick more boxes on your list. Number 4, not being authentic. When trying to impress someone, we may unintentionally hide parts of ourselves or pretend to be somebody that we're not. This can include exaggerating your accomplishments, pretending to enjoy things you don't, or pretending to be more emotionally available than you actually are. While it might help you to get the initial attraction, it ultimately leads to disconnections and feelings of dishonesty. The best relationships are built on honesty, vulnerability, and authenticity. If you can't be yourself with someone, it's unlikely the relationship will go very far. How to avoid this? Embrace your true self. Understand that being genuine is attractive. Don't try to mold yourself into someone you think they want. You'll attract someone who appreciates who you truly are. Communicate your needs and boundaries. Express your feelings and needs in a straightforward manner. Don't be afraid to show your vulnerability. Real connections are built on mutual understandings, not facades. Accept that not not everyone will like you. While it's natural to want to be liked, the reality is that not everyone will be a perfect match. The goal is to find someone who loves you for you, not for a version of yourself you've created. The consequences of failing to be authentic. Eventually, your partner will sense the disconnection, leading to disappointment and disillusionment. Pretending to be someone else takes a toll on your emotional well-being, leading to frustration and burnout. If you're not true to yourself, you might end up in relationships that don't align with your true values and needs. Number 5, playing games or being too manipulative. Dating should be about mutual respect and connection, not manipulation or playing games. Many people, especially those who are insecure and inexperienced, resort to manipulative tactics like playing hard to get, ghosting, or creating jealousy to get attention. These behaviors are toxic and undermine the possibility of building a healthy relationship. Instead of fostering genuine connection, they create confusion, frustration, and distrust. How to avoid it? Be clear about your intention. If you're interested in someone, let them know. Don't play mind games to keep them guessing or to get validation. Avoid creating drama for attention. Playing games like trying to make someone jealous or withholding affection to try and test their interests will only lead to emotional turmoil. Practice honesty. Be upfront about your feelings, intentions, and boundaries. It helps eliminate misunderstandings and fosters trust and respect. Why playing games is harmful. It creates emotional distance as your partner never knows where you stand. Manipulative behavior breeds resentment and mistrust in the long run. It results in shallow relationships that don't allow for deep emotional connection. Number 6, not communicating openly. Effective communication is the backbone of any healthy relationship. If you aren't able to clearly express your thoughts, feelings, and expectations, it's easy for misunderstandings to happen. Not only does poor communication hinder growth in a relationship, but it can also lead to frustration, resentment, and emotional distance. Here's how you avoid that. Be open and honest. Express your thoughts and feelings clearly, even when it's difficult. Avoid bottling up emotions, as they can lead to passive-aggressive behaviors or emotional outbursts. Listen actively. Communicating is a two-way street. Take the time to truly listen to your partner's thoughts, concerns, and needs. Address issues early on. Don't wait until small misunderstandings turn into big issues. The consequences of poor communication. Misunderstandings and assumptions can lead to unnecessary conflict. Unaddressed issues can grow into larger problems that are harder to resolve. Lack of communication often results in emotional disconnection, leading to breakup. Number 7, becoming too dependent on your partner. While it's natural to rely on your partner for emotional support, becoming overly dependent on them can drain the relationship. If you rely on your partner to provide all your happiness, self-worth, and emotional stability, it can create an unhealthy dynamic where your partner feels suffocated or responsible for your well-being. How to avoid this? Cultivate emotional independence. Learn to take care of your own emotional needs and be responsible for your happiness. Your partner should complement your life, not complete it. Pursue your own interests and passions. Don't lose sight of your individual identity. Maintain your own hobbies, friendships, and goals. Maintain a healthy balance. Support each other, but recognize that both partners need space to grow independently. Why emotional dependency is so harmful? It can lead to feelings of suffocation or resentment on both sides. It puts too much pressure on your partner to fulfill needs they may not be able to meet. It inhibits personal growth as you become overly reliant on the relationship for your sense of self. Number 8, not setting boundaries. Boundaries are essential in every relationship as they help define the limits of acceptable behavior. Without clear boundaries, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, disrespected, or taken for granted. Whether it's emotional boundaries, physical space, or setting limits on time and energy, boundaries are critical for maintaining a healthy relationship. How to avoid it? Know your boundaries. Take time to reflect on what feels comfortable and what doesn't. Be clear with yourself about your non-negotiable. Communicate your boundaries clearly. Be open and honest about your boundaries with your partner, and ensure that both of you understand and respect them. Respect your partner's boundaries. Pay attention to your partner's limits, and don't pressure them to compromise if they're uncomfortable with something. The consequences are dire for not setting boundaries. You may feel disrespected or drained by constantly accommodating to your partner's needs. It can lead to emotional burnout and resentment. Without clear boundaries, unhealthy behaviors may go unaddressed. Number 9, focusing too much on the future too early. While thinking about the future is an important part in any relationship, overly thinking about what will happen months or even years down the line in the early stages can create unnecessary pressure. Instead of enjoying the moment and allowing the relationship to evolve naturally, you may become anxious or stressed about what might happen. Relationships should be about discovering and experiencing each other in real time. How to avoid it? Live in the present. Focus on the current moment and the emotional connection you're building with your partner. Avoid overthinking. Don't dwell on what may or may not happen in the future. Relationships evolve over time, and it's best to embrace the journey rather than forcing a predetermined outcome. Take things step by step. Allow the relationship to unfold naturally. It's okay to have long-term goals, but avoid making assumptions about the future too soon. The dangers of focusing on the future too soon. The dangers of focusing too much on the future. You might pressure your partner into making commitments they're not ready for. It can cause anxiety and uncertainty, which can undermine the relationship. Focusing too much on future expectations may prevent you from enjoying the present moment. Number 10, not taking responsibility for your own emotional needs. Expecting your partner to be your sole source of happiness and emotional fulfillment can place undue pressure on the relationship. While it's natural to seek emotional connection and support from a partner, your emotional well-being should not be entirely dependent dependent on someone else. By learning to take responsibility for your own emotional needs, you create a healthier, more balanced dynamic in the relationship. How to avoid it. Practice self-care. Engage in activities that nurture your emotional health, such as mindfulness, hobbies, or spending time with friends and family. Work on emotional resilience. Develop coping mechanisms that help deal with stress and negative emotion without relying solely on your partner. Communicate your needs, but don't depend on your partner. Share your emotional needs with your partner, but recognize that it's also important to have a sense of self-sufficiency. Why it's important to take responsibility. It prevents you from placing too much pressure on your partner to meet all your emotional needs. It fosters a sense of independence and self-reliance, which strengthens the relationship. It reduces the risk of emotional burnout for you and your partner. By becoming aware of these common dating mistakes and actively avoiding them, you increase your chances of building a strong, healthy, and lasting relationship. Dating is a learning experience, and each mistake offers valuable insight into what works and what doesn't. The key is to approach dating with honesty, respect, communication, and a willingness to grow. Relationships are about mutual understanding and support, and by avoiding these pitfalls, you can set the foundation for a love that's meaningful and enduring. Stay true to yourself, communicate openly, and take the time to build a connection that's built to last. Additional tips for healthy dating. Stay true to your boundaries. Don't compromise on your non-negotiable, even if you feel pressured to do so. Boundaries create respect and ensure that you don't lose sight of your values. Remember to keep a healthy balance between your personal life, friendships, and your romantic relationships. Your partner should enhance your life, not be the sole focus of it. Practice patience. Building a deep, lasting relationship takes time. Don't rush the process and let things unfold naturally at their own pace. Respect differences. No two people are exactly alike. Embrace your differences and celebrate the diversity that each individual brings to the relationship. Compromise and flexibility will go a long way in creating harmony. Learn from your mistakes. If things don't go as planned, take time to reflect and learn what went wrong and what you can learn from it. Use those lessons to improve your future relationships. Have fun together. Dating should be fun and enjoyable. Don't take yourself too seriously and make room for laughter, adventure, and lighthearted moments. By keeping these principles in mind, you'll be able to navigate the complexities of dating with confidence, clarity, and a better understanding of what you need from a relationship. Whether it's your first date or you've been in relationships before, embracing the right approach can make all the difference in creating a love that is fulfilling, enduring, and truly meaningful.